Good morning, second grade. The first phonogram that we need for our words today is sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. Class, what are you going to write? Good. Sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. All right, say that while you write it. And put your finger under that phonogram, class. What is it? Good. Sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. This is our sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. All right, class, so that is the only phonogram that we should need to review. We'll review the other ones, but if you don't know these, it kind of lets you know, oh, we're not quite on track to where we should be, because these are old ones and we've reviewed them a lot. So if we're still not sure, you gotta work on them or something. You gotta see if you can get someone to help you work on them, a teacher, someone at the school, because these we should really know by now. All right, the next one is or. What are you going to write? Good, or. Say it while you write it. All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram. What is it? Good, or. All right, the next phonogram is the of her. What are you going to write? Good, the of her. Say it while you write it. And put your finger under that phonogram. What is it? Good, the of her. This is our the of her. All right, our next phonogram is What are you going to write? Good, Say it while you write it. All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram. What is it? Good. Remember, my teeth aren't touching. So it's going to be this one. All right, class, the next one is d, past tense ending. What are you going to write? Good. Say it while you write it. Put your finger under that phonogram. What is it? Good. d, past tense ending. This is our d, past tense ending. All right, so we'll quickly review these just in case some of us who are online don't know them yet. But remember, that's a sign like we got to get help, because by now we should know these. Not this one, all the rest. All right, class, what's this one? Good, the of her. How about this one? Good, This one? Or this one? Good, d, past tense ending. And how about this one? Good, sh, tall letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. All right, class, our first word today is try. What's the word? Good, try. What sounds do we hear in the word try? Good, our sounds are t, r, I. All right, now class, you see we have just one letter that's making the I sound at the end of English words. Could we use I-E? We can't? Why not? Good. English words don't end with I. What would we use instead? Good. We would use Y or yeah, I-E. All right, so one more time, what are we going to write for try? Good. T, r, I. Say the sounds while you write them. All right, put your finger under the first phonogram, class. What is it? Good. T. R. Good. I. Which I is it? Good. Ya. I-E. All right, class, what lets our ya, I-E say I in this word? All right, I bet, or I hope a lot of you said open syllable, because this is an open syllable, but let's say the rule for this guy. For this guy, remember, its rule is different than most of the others. I and Y usually say E or I at the end of a syllable, but may say I. All right, let's say that all together one more time. I and Y usually say E or I at the end of a syllable, but may say I. All right, so let's mark it. Remember, whenever this phonogram says I, this is how we mark it, right? Because that's its name or its second vowel sound. All right, pick up your pencil and mark it. And let's read our word. Good, try. All right, class, let's look at our base word. What do we have at the end of our base word try? Which single phonogram? We have a single Y. All right, we have a suffix rule for when we want to add a suffix to the end of a word that starts with a single Y. So if we want to add most suffixes to the end of this word, we have to use that suffix rule. Class, what's our rule? All right, look, we know it has to do with our Y. It's our Y exchange rule. All right, so that means that if we're adding any suffix that does not start with I, right, the only exception is if we're adding a suffix that starts with I, to a word that ends with a single Y, we have to trade our Y for an, it has to make the same sound. So what can make the same sounds as this? Good, an I. We trade our Y for an I. All right, so we're going to add the suffix ed, d, t to the end of our word, and it will be, what will it be? Good, tried. Tried. All right, class, what sounds do we hear in the word tried? Good, so our sounds are t, r, I, d. All right, but our d, it's not just one letter. What are we going to write to spell d? Good, ed, d, t, past tense ending. But our Y, our I, it's not going to be I-E like it was in our base word. What is it going to be? Good, it's going to be I-E because we're doing our Y exchange rule. We have to trade our Y for an I. One more time, what are we going to write for tried? Which I? Good, I-E. And which d? Good, ed, d, t, past tense ending. All right, write those sounds. Say them while you write them. All right, pause the video if you're not ready. Put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Good. T. Good. R. Good. I. Which I? Good. I-E. And good. D. But which d is it? Good. Ed. D. T. Past tense ending. All right, so make sure your word looks like this. Does this need a marking? How about this one? This? Good, it's saying its name. And how about this? All right, well, we know we need this, but what are the 3 sounds of that phonogram? Good, the sounds are ed, d, t. Which sound do we hear in tried? If you're showing me this, that's how we need to mark it. All right, pick up your pencil. And let's read our word. Good, tried. All right, our next word, or the next suffix that we're going to add would be our z, and our word would be tries. So my friend always tries her best when she plays soccer. Tries. All right, so again, we're going to write our base word try. What are we going to write for our base word try? All right, but which I is it? All right, if we're adding a suffix that doesn't start with I, then our I is going to be I-E. As we do our Y exchange rule, trade our Y for an I. So I, which I? Good, I-E. All right, now we want to add our z to make tries, but remember, when we're doing our Y exchange, we can never just add z. We always have to add something before it. What do we add, class? Oh, great, you remembered. We add silent E and then our, well, in this word it's saying s, try, or z, tries. All right, so anytime we're doing the Y exchange rule, and we want to add S, we can never just add S. It's always silent E and then the S. All right, so one more time, what are we going to write for tries, class? Silent E, Z. All right, and make sure you do the Y exchange. Trade that Y for an I. All right, class, write the sounds in tries. Say them while you write them. All right, class, put your finger under that first phonogram. What is it? Good. T. Good. R. I. Which I? Good. I-E. All right, and then we have, all right, then we have silent E, and then R. Good. Z. Make sure yours looks like this. Let's mark it. No. Saying its name. Silent. Let's see, is it saying S or Z in tries? Good. Pick up your pencil and mark it. And let's read our word. Good. Tries. All right. Our next word is trying. Class, what's the word? Trying. Good. I am trying my hardest, even though I am tired. Trying. All right, class. So our Y exchange rule is when we add any suffix that does not start with I. Would we use our Y exchange rule for trying? We wouldn't. That's right, because ing starts with I, so we wouldn't do it. And part of that is because in English, we just don't ever see 2 I's written side by side, right? If we did our Y exchange rule and then added ing, we would have 2 I's side by side. And that's just not something that we see in English. All right, so we're not going to do our Y exchange rule. All right, class, what's our base word? Good. Our base word is try. What's our suffix that we're adding to that base word? Good. Ing. There's nothing that we need to do besides add the suffix, except how many syllables is it? All right, I'm hoping pretty soon we won't even have to put our hands on our chin because we'll just remember. If you need to, that's all right. But at some point I want to stop asking because I want you to remember that ing always gets its own syllable. Anytime we're adding ing to a base word, ing is always going to get its own syllable. So trying is good. The base word try was one. Our suffix ing is one. So trying. Say the sounds while you write them. All right, class, put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Good. T. Good. R. I. Which I? All right, we didn't do the Y exchange rule, so it's still ya. I-E. What's next? Good. I. And good. All right, make sure your word looks like this. And let's mark it. Saying its vowel, name, right? Good, pick up your pencil. And let's read our word. Good, trying. All right, class, our next word is spell. What's the word? Good, spell. We are learning how to spell a big word today, spell. Class, what sounds do you hear in the word spell? Good, our sounds are s, p, e, o. But we're going to use our floss rule. Class, what's our floss rule? Good, we often double F, L, or S after a single vowel at the end of a one-syllable word. All right, so we're going to write what we hear in spell, and then we're going to double which sound? Good, ol. We're going to double our ol. So one more time, what is it? Good, s, p, e, o, ol. Say the sounds while you write them. All right, class, put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Good. S. Good. And o, and good, o. All right, make sure your word looks like this. Does this need a marking? This one, this one, this one, this one. Nope, let's read it. Good, spell. All right, class, our next word, yesterday we learned the word inform. We're gonna take that as our base word for a longer word today. The word is information. Sorry, information. Information is how we say it when we're talking. Information. Class, what's our word? Good, information. All right, but when we're to spell it, it's a two-way word. We say information. All right, so listen again. I know that's kind of tricky. Information. All right, say that with me. Information. All right, one more time, class. How do we say information to spell it? Good. Information. All right, how many syllables are in information? Show me. All right, there's 4 syllables. we just did the base word inform yesterday. All right, so that's going to be the first two syllables is inform, that base word. Let's just review those. Inform, what are we going to write for the first syllable? In. Good. I, n. And for the second syllable, form. Good. F, or, m. So inform, those are our first two syllables. Say them while you write them. All right, pause the video if you don't have those first two syllables. Inform. All right, so we said it was information. So what's our next syllable? Good, a, and our last syllable. Good, Sean. So our third syllable, a, we only hear one sound, a, and it's an open syllable. That means we're going to use which a? Good, a, of course. If it's an open syllable, it means just the single vowel. All right, and our fourth syllable, Sean. What are we going to write for that? Good, sh, and our sh is sh. Tall letter sh. Use at the beginning of syllables after the first one. All right, so one more time, our third syllable is good, a, and our fourth syllable, good, Sean. All right, write the sounds in those syllables. Say them while you write them. All right, class, put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Good, I, n. Good, syllable break. Good, or. Good, m. Good, syllable break. So our first two syllables are just that base word we learned yesterday. What's next? Good, a. And what kind of syllable is it? Good, it's an open syllable. And what about our fourth syllable? Good, sh. Which sh? Good, sh. Tall letter sh. Use at the beginning of syllables after the first one. Good, ah, and good, n. All right, it's probably the longest word that we've spelled this year. I think it's our first 4-syllable word. So really take your time, make sure you got everything. All right, does this need a marking? How about this? How about this? This? Good. This? This? Good. This? Good. All right, pick up your pencil. All right, let's read our word, just like it's written up here. Good. Good, so inform, a, Sean. All right, class, so our word is, to spell it, we said information. But we know when we say it, that's not the way we say it. We say information. Information. So, I don't know where I put my marker. We'll just have to finish in a different color. All right, so let's see. Let's listen. We've got two things that are different. I think we know one from other words that we've done. Information, information. So information, information. All right, let's just listen to that. I won't change the second thing. Information, information. All right, class, what do we hear that's not making its usual sound? Did you say this? All right, you're right. really quickly because I know this video is getting long. The reason for that is, remember our rule, we haven't done it for a while. R and or usually say in an unstressed syllable. So remember, that means our word is at least 2 syllables, because anytime we have a word that's 2 or more syllables, there's stress or emphasis on one of the syllables. All right, so here our or is saying because it's in an unstressed syllable, and R and or usually say in an unstressed syllable. All right, the other thing we've seen a lot, including in nation yesterday. Class, what else are we going to put a thinking cap on? Very good, our o, oo. Remember, every time we have that shun sound at the end, we always say Sean to spell it, and it's always tall letters, sh. All right, so one more time, how do we say this word to spell it? Good, to spell it, we say information. When we're talking, we say information. All right, the next word is person. Class, what's our word? Good, person. And person is a 2-way word. To spell it, we say person. Then say that with me, person. Class, how do we say person to spell it? Good, we say person. Person. All right, class, put your finger under the first, or sorry, how many syllables are in person? Good, there's 2 syllables. What's our first syllable? Good, per, and our second syllable? Good, son. All right, what sounds do we hear in our first syllable, per? Good, it's the of her. Let's try and do the whole word together. What sounds do we hear in our second syllable, son? Good, those sounds are s, So one more time, what's our first syllable? Good, which the of her, and our second syllable, son. Good, s, Say the sounds while you write them. All right, class, put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Good. Good, which Good, the of her. And syllable break. Good. All right. Make sure your word looks like that. Let's mark it. Good. All right, pick up your pencil and mark it. And let's read our word. Good, so to spell it, we say person. When we're talking, we say person. Let's figure out what's different. Person, person. Person, person. Class, what's going to get our thinking cap? Good, it's our o, oo. Is it saying it's making more of an sound? One more time, how do we say this to spell it? Good, person. All right, class, we have one more thing to write today, and that is actually we're going to do one more contraction. All right, so first we'll write the 2 words that we make a contraction from, and the 2 words are I am. Class, now before you write those 2 words, when we're talking about ourselves, we always use which kind of an I do we use? All right, we always use a capital I anytime you're saying I to talk about yourself. So make sure your I in the words I am is capitalized. All right, class, what are the 2 words you just wrote? Good, I and am. Good. All right, we're going to make a contraction out of those. So that means we're going to squish it into one word. We're going to take out a letter and replace it with does anyone remember what that's called? apostrophe. Excellent work if you remembered. So let's see, our contraction for I am is I'm. What sound do you hear in I am that you don't hear in I'm? This one, huh? We're going to take that out. We're going to replace it with an apostrophe. All right, so I'm going to put a slash, and right next to the words, go ahead and write the contraction, I'm. So again, we're just writing what we have here without, as one word without the letter we removed. Right, and then our contraction again, of course, it's going to be capitalized. All right, class, what two words did we make our contraction out of? Good, I am. And what's our contraction? Good, I'm. All right, class, we had a lot of words today, and some of them were pretty complicated. So I think we'll just take tomorrow to review these because I can't try and squish all the review we need in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So it's a short day today. Make sure you read some. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.